Like when I worked at Draft House, I'd have to wash them every 2 days because I'd just
Yeah,
sweat like a motherfucker.
You're also working in food. Like,
Daily Edge. The
you
Daily
come out
Edge.
of there smelling like food, and it's gross.
The Daily Edge says to wash your jeans every 4 or 5 wears.
Every 4 or 5 wears.
Yeah,
unless
I am washing mine
unless
too
you
much.
have ass sweat.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless it's like bad ass sweat.
Yeah, if you're like sweating in your jeans, you have to wash them more than that. That's gross.
I would wash like I mean
at that point, stop wearing jeans.
I feel like you're
well, no, but you can't because that's what I mean. What if you're doing construction?
but
you gotta
jeans
wear
start to
jeans.
smell pretty rank. Like once you know they need to be washed. Like all you got to do is kind of put your face in there, and you're like, oh man, I can't wear.
I don't
these
think
today.
I've ever gotten my jeans to where they smell rank.
This is, yeah,
They smell. I've wore like construction, right? You wear and they're sweaty. They smell sweaty.
Do y'all not
But
wear
you just
underwear?
wash them.
Well, I guess
Oh, yeah.
I guess by rank I mean sweaty.
Maybe you need to get
okay.
moisture wicking underwear.
This is Twin Stick Radio, episode 76 for the week of July 11th, 2019. I am one of your hosts, Trey Higgins. I'm joined by Chris Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Justin T. Lopez.
We're all back together.
I know, after a month.
It's
Over
been,
5
it's
weeks.
been
It's
over
been
a
5
month.
weeks.
It's been over a month since we've all been at this table.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yep. And we immediately started talking about underwear, which I'm sure some part of that conversation has made it into the stinger of
Yeah,
this.
that has to be the
Yeah.
cold open, right? Yeah.
Yeah. How's everyone doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I got approved for a house, or like a rental house this
Hey,
week.
Congratulations.
How adult?
Thank you.
How adult are we, man?
I know. You're getting ready. Y'all are both getting ready to move into.
Hey, I am
into-
the least adult out of all of us.
It felt weird leaving you out, so I was going to group
No,
you together.
it's fine. I know my position in life, and I'm
Chris
comfortable
and
with
them
it.
had just purchased that. Well, not purchased house,
No,
but you
we
guys are
got-
moving into your own
Moving
house.
into our own house. Yeah.
We're moving out of our apartment, and that's really cool. Man, security deposits suck,
Yeah, man. Freaking.
and application fees.
Yep.
The worst.
Yep.
But
It's all dumb.
It's all worked out.
got lucky on ours. The one we're in now, we only had to put a security deposit down. That's all we ever had to pay. No, I take that back. The application fee was like $60.
per person,
I don't remember.
we had to pay per person.
for for I don't want to
Where
say
you're
the
at
name
now.
of the street where we live. Not that I think we have very many fans that would like come and kill us, but safety.
You never know. Not now.
There was like a small application fee and then like a $500 deposit, which
Yeah.
for me, I've never had to pay a deposit because I've always lived in like college apartments
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, we just need people to fill up these rooms. Like, we'll waive your deposit because we're really nice.
Well, with ours,
Oh, you have 19 cats? Sure, we just need you in this room.
come
Yeah,
in,
just
yeah.
come in.
with ours, like, so Bree, she doesn't have a ton of stuff on her credit. So she's having to pay an additional deposit on top of that.
Yep.
I was like, God dang it! Like we had to like the deposits, and then just for the pets because you had to pay pet deposits too.
Where, like, is it a nicer place that you're moving
yeah,
into?
yeah. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Here in
Wow.
town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger. But much like how I like my underwear, the opposite of that. I like to have space.
Sure.
That's our biggest problem with our house right now. Like living with Chris and Whitney, they're the easiest roommates I've ever had in my life. But it's just small enough that we step on each other enough that it's like I can't wait to have just a little bit more room.
Well, I'm just excited to have like my own little office because I want to get back into streaming, and we did it for a little bit whenever we did, like, I was getting ready for Eat Geek Sleep Repeat, and like I really enjoyed doing that. But it's really hard whenever me and Bree share a room,
Sure.
and it's like I feel bad because I'm really loud whenever I'm playing video games, and I know she's trying to sleep. So it'll be nice to have like a set room just for that, and it'll be like I'll have like nice lights and nice setup, and I can kind of expand and grow in that.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
Just excited because I can throw away my nasty toiletry bag.
Yeah, it's true.
You have a toiletry bag.
Well,
does.
because Whitney has
You're
a
like
lot
a
of,
true college person.
Whitney has a lot of stuff, and
very
I
true.
don't have that much stuff, so it's easier for me to just carry my little bag back and forth from the bathroom
very
than
true.
to ask Whitney to make room for me. So I haven't minded doing it, but I'm really excited to be like, oh, if I forget my toiletry bag in my bedroom, I don't have to like put my pants back on, walk back out, grab my bag, put it in the bathroom.
Well, you might.
Something fell off.
If you do have to,
We'll worry about that in a second.
if you do have to go from the bathroom to your room, there's a hallway.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably want to put pants on because it's an open hallway.
No, not the naked part. It's just my
okay.
toiletries will be in the bathroom.
I understand. But your room is just as far from your room now to the bath. It's literally the same thing.
Which
You
is
just L out.
super convenient.
Yeah.
So-
I like the idea of you having a toiletry bag, but also wearing shower shoes. You know, like you're going to take a shower and you're like, all right, I got to put on my shower shoes. Like true.
I put
true.
on sand, and like I don't walk around the house barefoot.
Oh, I don't walk around
in the shower? You do?
Well, yeah, even going to well, I get in the shower barefoot.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
going to the shower, I have sandals on.
I'm the same. Chris told day one. Chris was like, "Hey, it's really cool that you wear those slip-ons all the time because you're gonna want to wear them."
Yep.
And I was like, it'll be fine. And then I left the room, and we have 2 cats and 1 litter box, and so they make litter,
and it hurts. And like a bigger one, getting like right into like a tender part of your foot, fucking hurts.
the part that I hate about
I'd
it
be
is
grossed
it
out just
gets
from that.
stuck to your feet,
Yep.
and then you bring it into the room, and you're
Yep.
like, ugh.
Or it gets in your bed.
Oh yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet because usually I like brush off
Yeah,
my
I
feet,
don't-
but
I don't
I very rarely leave unless it's like 3:00 or 5:00 in the morning and I'm super thirsty and I just need water real fast. I hardly ever leave the room without putting on my shoes.
which is why I don't let the cats on the bed ever.
That's fair.
Whitney lets them, but I try to like they're learning. They are. Yesterday we were both in the bedroom and Toulouse walked up to the door, did not cross the threshold of the door, and just laid down in front of the door. It's like good cat. He understands. Then Bellamy just runs right in. It's like fuck you,
And then
little
Toulouse
bitch.
follows like, okay,
No,
yeah, I guess we're going
no. Toulouse like looked at her and goes, "Meow."
Don't
Like,
do
yeah,
it.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
I feel like that's exactly what he was saying.
One last anecdote before we start talking about video games. Whitney's been doing a lot of packing. She's been the only one packing so far. Because she just wants to get like I think she likes like knowing that everything is like getting ready to go.
yeah. Same
Whereas
way.
like Chris and I are like, no, it'll take us like a week. We'll be fine. It's good. But it's been like a traumatic experience for Toulouse. Like he is so confused about what is happening. The other day I walked in and he was laying on top of one of the boxes. And usually when I come in, I like put my hand out. He sniffs my hand and then I pet him for a second. And it's like, oh, hey, how you doing, bud? Well, I put my hand out and he flinched like I beat him. And I was like, and Whitney was sitting there and I was like, what's wrong with you, buddy? Oh, and he like sniffed me and we got better. But he's like, it's like traumatic for him. And it's really funny because Toulouse is like kind of an asshole that
'cause
thinks
he's
he
a
owns
little bitch.
everything.
Yeah.
That's
His
why.
whole life is just flipping upside down.
Yeah, wait till he has to get in the car and ride for 20 minutes.
Oh,
Do you guys have a cat carrier? Mm-hmm. Okay.
oh, that's good.
Yeah. I feel like Bellamy is going to
She'll throw
disappear.
She'll
up.
throw
All over the
up.
place, yeah.
Stress.
Yep.
So what have you guys been playing, Chris?
Fallout 4 a lot.
On
as much
PC?
as like, oh yeah. as
No, I
much
was
as
wondering what you
can,
were playing
yeah.
on PC.
I don't know why. Oh, I mean, I do. I got the game of the year for like $12.
Oh, so and you haven't played
Never played any of
Okay.
them. So I've been doing that. I got through the Automatron sort of DLC, and it's a lot of fun. I thought it was really cool.
which is like the worst DLC out of the pack.
Yeah, that's what
according
I
to
heard.
people.
That's
so
what-
if you like that, then it's
that's
only
the
gonna go
thing.
up
Like
from there.
you can build your own robots, like from like killing robots out in the game. You can pick up their spare parts, and then you learn that schematic for robots. So then you can go back to your base, and they have this new big ass like robot building station, and you can build your own robots from like Protectrons to Sentry bots, and you can customize them. And there's specific robots out in the world that have specific like unique parts that you can add, and it's fucking crazy. I have this giant ass Sentry bot that has like electric pulses coming off of him, and a death claw skull as a head.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
really fucking cool, man.
I wonder if you're enjoying it more, or are you enjoying it more coming from Fallout 76
It's just
to like
because
a more?
it's just because it's Fallout.
I was gonna ask
Like,
that same question.
it's just I think Fallout 76, and this is a bad example, and this might mean I'm a really terrible gamer, but Fallout 76 and going back to Fallout 4 has just cemented, like, I think Fallout's my favorite game franchise of all time. Like, it's just, I love that world so much, and I love those games, even though they're not good games. They're good games. They're not
I don't think so.
amazing.
I think they're good in their own right.
I would agree that 76 isn't a great game from my 5 hours of playing it. However, like I don't think that anyone can make a reasonable argument that Fallout 4 is a bad
Sure,
game.
yeah. I wouldn't say they're not going to make the top games ever list. You know what I mean? I think that of New Vegas and 3, I don't think they're fucking top tier Last of Us type games, but I think they're just fucking amazing.
I think Fallout 4 is great. It's just not Fallout 3 again, and that's a problem for me. But Fallout 4 by itself is amazing.
But yeah, I think that's it. I downloaded Destiny. Bad Juju's there, so that was. I mean, Trey knows that was like my gun in D1. So I think I might go do the Bad Juju quest here in Destiny soon.
Man, that was something that I saw come up on Twitter because they did the whole like announcement kind of video of it, and I didn't play Destiny 1 deep enough to get into what legendaries you have and your exotics and everything, so I missed out on Bad Juju. But I didn't know it could do all that stuff.
Yeah, like
as far as recharging your super and how it just, I don't know, it's super cool.
In D1, my biggest thing was Obsidian Mind, which was a Warlock helmet that every kill you got with your Nova Bomb charged your super. Basically what Skull of Dire of Ahamkamar does now. But it was Obsidian Mind, so your Nova Bomb, more kills means more super. Compared also with Bad Juju, was just I would get my super back like crazy. And in this new version of Bad Juju seems like it's you stack this string of curses 5 times, and with 5 stacks it just I saw there was a GIF on Twitter or a video on Twitter of a guy using the Dawnblade Well of Radiance. He was wearing Phoenix Protocol, so any kill you get inside of your well recharges your super, and he was using Bad Juju, and he was getting his super back within probably 20 seconds. He'd put it down, 20 seconds, super's back. Put it down again, another 20 seconds, super's back. It was a little ridiculous.
That's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to getting Bad Juju. I don't have the currency to do it, so it's going to take me a while. But like I said, Draken, that was my gun in Destiny 1. I used that consistently. Over Galahorn, over all these other amazing exotics, I would always choose Bad Juju as my primary slot.
One of the nice things about this quest, I've been having this problem with a lot of the exotic quests that they've introduced this year. Apparently, it's one of the only ones that you can actually solo.
Yeah, you can do it solo, which is amazing.
Which is awesome because every other one, there's at least one quest step where you have to like jump into a Nightfall or do a raid. Yeah, it's very annoying.
You don't have to go into Crucible for this thing.
That's always nice.
Yeah. I don't even think you have to do anything like matchmaking based, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so either.
You just got to have the right currency to give the tributes or whatever it is, and that's just a matter of grinding out currencies. But you don't have to. I don't think you have to go into Menagerie or Gambit or any of these things.
You can just gain the currency.
Yeah, like
is
it planetary materials?
No, the idea is there's a thing called a tribute hall on the Leviathan, where you're offering tributes to this golden statue of Callus, and the more tributes you give, the more things he'll give you, and I think you have to stack up 18 tributes before you can get Bad Juju. But you have to do like a quest in between this, and you have to go do a specific. There's a specific mission that's. I guess I don't know if it's a rehash of something, but it's a specific mission you have to go do to forward the quest as well. But the tributes are like phase glass needles and it's a planetary materials.
Alkane dust.
Yeah, alkane dust and all this.
Byron Bows.
Yeah, I don't think the Byron Bows. No,
of course, because that's the one that all of us have a million of.
Yeah, that's the one that's not used at all. I don't think. Anyway, but I'm looking forward to doing it. There's a super fucking cool skin that you can buy from Eververse that I would buy hands down, especially if I know
you can do now, and that's super nice.
Yeah, especially if I know Destiny is going to last another year, which I know it is because of Shadowkeep. Hopefully we play Destiny 2 after Shadowkeep more. I'll invest money for that because it's super cool. Instead of the bird skull, it looks like it's got a Cabal skull.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it looks so fucking cool. Anyway, that's it. Actually, that just Fallout 76. Oh, and Borderlands 2. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, you guys.
It's literally been like 3 weeks since I've been on this podcast. I feel like.
Been a while.
Yeah. Whitney and I started playing Borderlands 2, and we're like 30-ish. Still in that gray area where it's like our builds are starting to come together.
Okay.
But I still die a lot as Krieg.
It's one of the worst things about that game.
I know, man.
It's really annoying because like as Zero, and I haven't played him, but I know his trees because I'm gonna have to play him for the platinum. Zero and Sal don't come together until like level 30.
I know,
and it's like that's a really long time to play and not get synergy like that.
Same with the Hellborn Krieg. You don't get the Hellborn Krieg is you light shit on fire, and for every dot of fire that you have on anything, you gain 25% of that health back, or 25% of that damage back as health. But that ability doesn't unlock till right before. So that tree, there's the main ability of the tree. This one's right before it. So you've got 25, 30 levels before you even get to that.
I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity with Borderlands 2, the Handsome Collection, that they don't just have a mode where you can just jump in and True Vault Hunter mode. That way you can like have a build that's come together. I feel like that's something that they should have done, because so much of that game is just about leveling. And then once you sort of hit that point where your build has come together, leveling doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
Like it helps you, but it suddenly is like less important.
Yeah, it's
than it was before.
It's interesting playing through Borderlands. This will be my 5th time going through this game. It's a lot of fun because I'm going through it with Whitney, but the problems with this game are just so in my face because of how many times I played it. I know Ev's kind of smiling because he knows what I'm talking about. Like,
do you think it's an age problem, or do you think that
no?
these are problems that are?
I think these are gameplay problems. I think they're like I cannot fathom why the floaty jumping was a thing in this game. I consistently jump over shit all the fucking time, and it is the worst fucking jumping thing. It's not a mechanic; it's just jumping. But they made it so floaty that it's like, what the fuck, man? I just need to get from here to there, and in my screen, it's a simple jump. But like, either I don't jump in time and I end up falling off of the thing because they have the field of view so bad, or I jump too late or too soon and I like freaking miss it, or it's just I hate the fucking jumping.
It's inconsistent. You feel like I've made this jump 1,000 times.
Exactly.
And you don't
the
make
idea
it never
that
gets better.
The idea that a build doesn't come together till level 30. We're talking probably maybe 30 hours. You know what I mean?
Well, most people haven't played that game twice, so most of them haven't seen an actual build.
And that's my thing is going through it 1-2 times. It's fun because I'm experiencing the story, right? The story's a shit ton of fun. The story's cool. It's funny. Claptrap's funny. Handsome Jack's funny. Everything's awesome and it's cool. The boss fights are a ton of fun. But when you've done that and you're just playing through it and looking at it, it's like, man, why the fuck I'm so glad they announced this for Borderlands 3, is that you're going to start to feel differences in a build from like level 1, which is amazing, right? Because from level 1 to 20 in Borderlands 2, everybody's the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Sal or Zero or I'm Krieg or Gage. It doesn't fucking matter. Literally doesn't matter. Just get the best gun you can get. And it's a shame that it takes to level 30 before you really start to be like Gage. It's like, oh shit, I understand Anarchy now. I need a shotgun that shoots one shot and I have to reload. Like, that's 30 levels in before you really get that.
Yeah.
Or Krieg, where it's like, I need a shotgun or a SMG so I can just spread fire damage everywhere. You don't see that till level 30, so you're just like, well, it's dumb.
Yeah.
That was just dumb gameplay design. Yeah, and shooting is clunky. I had never really noticed it before, but shooting's insanely clunky.
I feel like that's an age thing.
It may be an age thing.
Because I feel like just since that game, we have games like Destiny.
Yeah,
where,
sure,
Destiny
possibly.
I still believe this, and no one has been able to like tell me I'm wrong yet, so I'm going to keep saying it until I'm convinced. But Destiny 2 is the best shooter on the market right now.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
So
with
I
that.
feel like it, especially if you're like me and you've been jumping between Destiny 2 and Borderlands.
It's the best like shooter from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah,
it's not the best.
I meant like literal shooter.
Not shooter.
Yeah, it's not the best shooter out there.
Shooter mechanics.
Yeah.
But jumping
It's the best
between
20-second loop.
Yeah. Jumping between that and Borderlands 2 has been like, it makes Borderlands 2's age stand out a shit ton.
There is, I don't know, this may be the cell shading design, but there's been, and I'm playing on a giant ass 60-inch TV, and you've seen how clear my TV is. I can't tell you how many times it's like, where the fuck am I getting shot from? And that's just not good. There's no indication on your screen of kind of where it's coming from. It's just like instant shake.
Well,
and it's like, where the fuck am I getting shot from? And you kind of spin around And like I said, I'm playing on a 60-inch TV that's insanely clear, and I don't see anything, and then bam, I'm dead. It's like, where the fuck is this dude?
It was one of the little guys. It just looks like a rock. Like,
No, maybe it's most of the time. It's like most of the time
they
it's
spawn enemies in, because a
they
lot of times you'll walk into what is obviously an arena and nothing will come out, and then right when you get in the center of the arena, you'll have a circle of enemies appear. But since you don't have a radar, you're not seeing behind you, so you don't know that the enemies are behind you.
Yeah, the map helps a bit. The little blips come up on a map, but it doesn't tell you which ones are your apparent threat. And it's normally like a badass that and I never noticed this either, but the enemies, I hate their fucking AI. A badass will come out, start shooting me, and then hide behind a crate and somehow shoot through the crate. I've never noticed it. I've never noticed it until now, and I'm getting super fucking frustrated at Borderlands 2.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he's a badass. He can shoot through a crate.
Bullets.
Yeah, it's just I've never
What's
noticed.
more badass than that?
You know, I've never fucking noticed it before until now, and it's like, I'm enjoying it because I'm playing through Whitney, but like.
And she's having a shit ton of fun.
She is,
which is surprising because I don't think I would have classified that as a Whitney game.
Sure, exactly. But
I'm sure the writing helps.
Yeah, the writing helps a ton.
I think she really likes Gage, and Gage has like the most Whitney character design of any character in a video game.
But man, I never noticed this about any of that about Borderlands 2 until now, and it's super fucking annoying.
Yeah,
it makes me look at that. Really makes me look at that game in a different light.
It'll make you appreciate Borderlands 3.
I hope so. I hope it's everything everybody's saying it is. I hope the shooting's better. I hope everything's better like they say it is.
Surely it will be. I mean, Borderlands 2 is so old.
I mean that's the thing. 2012, right?
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah, we're talking. It's an old ass game. So
boot up any 10-year-old game or almost 10-year-old game, and you're gonna see some.
Yeah, sure.
Notice some things.
Yeah, sure. Unless it's like an RPG, I totally agree with you. Like if you went and booted up Killzone 2 on PS3 right now, I bet that game's fucking atrocious.
Back at the time when they're like, this is the Halo game.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why I like games like Fallout. It doesn't change. It's an RPG. Like I'll boot up Fallout 76, Fallout New Vegas right now.
One of the things
and have a fuck ton of fun.
One of the things about playing an RPG for the first time is because it's there's sort of like an archaicness to RPGs that when you play it for the first time, you just get the game. It makes it hard for you to go back to older RPGs that you didn't play at the time. But like I can still play Mass Effect 1 today, and I know that it's a sloppy game in comparison to things that came out afterwards. But I can still play it. I know exactly how it works, and I'm successful at it, and I don't have to like go through a learning curve again.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever play Mass Effect 1 again because the shooting's just bad. Compared to 2 and 3, the shooting's just so bad.
Yeah, see, I agree. I agree with that. But like,
it.
I could play it and I would be fine. I would just be like, this is gonna suck until I hit like level 20.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it.
You spend like the first 15 levels of that game putting as much points into the weapons you like.
Sure,
to use as
100%.
So they get usable.
Yep.
Justin, what are you playing?
Let's see. So, I haven't really played a ton this week, but we did. We can kind of talk about it too. We did play. Not a whole lot at RTX, but we went to RTX this past weekend. And one of the things that we played there that I think we both really liked was it was a Rooster Teeth game. It was a Vicious Circle.
Yeah, we hit the show floor that day, and I'm sorry if any Rooster Teeth people are listening. I love you guys, but we hit the floor that day, and Justin was like, "Hey, did you send an email to the Rooster Teeth Games people to see if we could set up a time with Vicious Circle?" And I was like, no, because it's a Rooster Teeth game. Like, I don't think it's going to be worth our time. Like, I just don't see the point in playing a Rooster Teeth game. It's not like the Ruby game was very good.
Right. It wasn't a bad assumption.
Yeah. You know? And Justin and I were talking about it a little bit more, and I was basically like, well, do you want me to? Because I'll go send the email now. And he's like, yeah, let's just do it. So I sent the email, and so I was going into this gameplay session with the lowest of expectations, just to sort of set where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly. And both of us going into it, we had seen somewhat some of the art style, some trailers.
Yeah, you had watched trailers, and the day before I read GameSpot had put out an article that day, and I read that and was like, okay, well maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, and kind of the way people had described it was almost Evolve meets Overwatch, kind of.
Which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh god, that is not going to be anything I'm going to enjoy.
Surprisingly, though, so we get into it, and it was actually very fun. It's kind of hard to explain, and it sounds very weird in concept, but its quirkiness really works well with it.
Yeah, so it's
And it was gameplay wise, it was actually fairly solid.
yeah, it's technically a 4v1 game, although like really it's a 1v1v1 game, times 5. But so you have 4 people that are playing these mercenaries, which are assigned hero classes, and each hero has like unique weapons and different abilities, and they can move around the map the other way. And then one person is playing a giant monster chicken. And so the way that the game works is you start out, the mercenaries start out the game in like an Overwatch pod that you start out in the beginning of the match. And then the pod opens up and all the mercenaries have to go out and collect as much of these like little cubes that are called nuggets as possible. They have to get 75. Once you get 75, you can initiate evac. Meanwhile, the giant chicken is going around and trying to kill all the mercenaries. The mercenaries are kind of on the same team and they can't really kill each other, but they can sort of mess with each other and try to knock nuggets off of them that you can go and pick up. And when the mercenaries die from the giant chicken, they become like this octopus monster and they can go and take over the body of another mercenary, and then that mercenary gets turned into an octopus monster.
And whenever you take over another mercenary's body, you take over the whatever nuggets they've collected. So one thing that happened in our playthrough, I collect 75 nuggets. So I'm waiting in the evac zone, waiting to get picked up. Someone swoops in.
It was me.
Was it you?
Yeah, it was me.
So Trey swoops in last second as an octopus monster thing, smacks me around a couple times. It was on PC, so my shooting wasn't fantastic, I'll admit.
I also was really like, I just want to play a mode where you just play the octopus monster because it was a shit ton of fun.
But he was able to
around the map,
take over my body with full evac points, basically.
and then I immediately die from the chicken.
Yeah, that's true.
So so the game's technically competitive, right? And but it's very arcadey, and it's really, really just fun and stupid. Like, I hate competitive games. I don't like playing Crucible. I stopped playing Overwatch because I hated losing. But like, because this game is so stupid and arcadey, and it just has really dumb humor, it's like a really good party game because the ridiculous shit happens and it's just funny. It's funny to be playing the chicken for the first time and you like charge and run over someone and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that.
I just watched the trailer. It literally looks like a game made by streamers for streamers.
I think
it would work well.
I think it would work.
Oh, it'll
well.
work 1,000. I mean, it'd work extremely well for streamers.
Yeah.
Like my dream scenario with that game is just to have like 5 friends to play it with. I don't think
Very fun, yeah.
I don't think that this is a game that's going to launch at $60 and it's going to be worth the $60. I don't think that it's like I don't think it's going to ever be like a professional esport. I don't ever think it's going to be a serious competitive game, but it is a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. One thing too. So something funny that happened while we were playing. So you can as a mercenary, you can mess with other mercenaries. So I was trying to go through a doorway as we're getting chased by this huge fat chicken, and someone makes it through the doorway before I do. And then on the other side of the door, there's like a lock button. So he locks it behind him, and then I just get stuck outside, and I just get smashed against the wall by this huge, ridiculously alien-like toxic chicken.
Yeah.
And it was just a ton of fun. Like like Trey said, it's not going to be competitive, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. But for going into it not expecting much, especially being a Rooster Teeth game, they're not really a gaming company, although they have made games before.
Yeah, I think people
well.
like the Ruby game, but it's just I don't care about rubies. So.
Yeah. So this one will be fun. I think it's going to be out on Steam
in August.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it's launching at. I don't have any of that information. But if you're like just looking for a wacky game to play with your friends, like I think
it would be worth $20. I could see paying $20 for it.
I think $20 would be a fair price. And honestly, like, I don't see anyone playing this game and not having a good time with it if they're among friends. Yeah. Like, part of the fun of that game was being in the room with 5 people and just laughing when dumb shit is happening.
Yeah. All this does not sound like a game you just jump online and play.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it feels like a game made by streamers for streamers.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So that's something I played this week that I had a lot of fun with.
I haven't been playing a lot either. I was sick right before RTX, and then I was at RTX, and then I'm running a new D&D campaign on top of the one that I'm already running. So this week has been when I haven't been working. I've just been prepping and reading. So Vicious. I was going to talk about Vicious Circle as well.
Yeah. And we got to interview Greg Miller and Nick Scarpino.
It's always such an enjoyable experience.
Yeah,
like I was so the first day of RTX. We went on the show floor. I got some cards. I went back upstairs to send out some emails, and Justin went to a panel. And I got up out of the room and I went to the vending machines because pro tip for RTX: if you're gonna like get drinks or food at RTX, the vending machines is the only affordable way to do that because you can get a soda for $1 and you can get snacks for $1. So I went to the vending machines to get a soda and a candy bar, and I was standing in the hallway eating the candy bar because I just wanted to eat it real fast and throw the wrapper away. And all of a sudden, from behind me, I hear.
Well, look who's eating the candy bar.
Look who's standing there eating a candy bar. And Greg Miller and Nick Scarpino come walking out. He's like, hey, Trey, how's it going, buddy? And then he did in the room next door, he did an interview with the Chip Show for Rooster Teeth. Mm-hmm. And I was just sitting there listening to it. And I've never been more excited for an interview to come out. Like, I tweeted about it and I was like, maybe I shouldn't tweet about this because I don't know if like Rooster Teeth would want that announced. And I don't know if I was supposed to know about that. But yeah, it's been a week. I don't care. Yeah. But yeah, and so we did the interview and he's just so nice. And it was like it was a pretty good interview too because not to toot my own horn, but he talked about a lot of the things that he doesn't usually talk about on his shows. Like, you know, he was talking very much about their growth and hiring. If you haven't listened to it yet, both the Nick Justin did a really good job with the Nick interview, asking about like the comedy scene and all that stuff. And the show they were doing that Saturday. So anyways, if you guys want to listen to those, it's already on the podcast feed and on YouTube. I would recommend it because Greg always gives us a really good conversation.
Yeah.
So
be on the lookout for us at future conventions, possibly.
That's the plan. I'd like to go to PAX.
Nope. I said us.
Nope.
I'd like to go to.
We're the mobile version.
I'd like to go to PAX this year. Ideally, I think it'd be a lot of fun to do what the ConCal guys do, where they like fly to conventions. But it's really, really expensive.
Yeah, who's going to be your fucking sugar daddy that's going to finance that?
There's apps.
You say that
there
like,
are apps for sugar daddies.
I was going to say, you say that like it's hard to find one. I just have to lower my standards.
And I'll change my standards.
I would like to go to PAX, just not to work.
Also, shout out to, and this is not video game related, but Oat Studio, Neil Blomkamp's, I don't know, one of those two. He has a YouTube channel, and they are recently known for doing the Anthem trailer, the live action Anthem trailer, which is really, really good. But their channel also has awesome shorts on it. I watched 2 of them last night, Raka and Zygote. Zygote is one of the most terrifying horror things I've seen in like recent years. Has an awesome monster design. Go watch the Anthem trailer because it's really, really good, and it like sort of reignites your love of Anthem if you loved it in the past. But
it does not reunite.
Go watch Raka and Zygote because it's really, really good.
It is July, and we still have yet to see a Cataclysm update.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not going to go play Anthem, but like you suddenly believe in Anthem again after watching it.
Hey, man, I still believe in Anthem. Somebody's got a lot of fire underneath those guys' asses. I still think Anthem's a fucking phenomenal game.
Something about that is in the news.
Oh, that's nice.
Somebody
a lot of fire underneath their asses?
I do. We'll start with the story.
Okay. I think this game's fucking phenomenal. I do. I think it's a lot of shit ton of fun. But fucking whatever.
So getting into the news. At the keynote panel for 2019's Develop Conference in Brighton, UK, Hello Games founder and No Man's Sky creator Sean Murray discussed the importance of actions over words after a sad launch of a game. Quote, and I can see EA, Microsoft, and Bethesda trying to placate players by just talking to them, but for right or wrong, it doesn't really work. You see, this is all time when a publisher will talk to the community and try to solve the problem and then get embroiled, taking up more and more of its headspace. In a follow-up interview with GameSpot, Murray went on to say, talking about features when a game is already out isn't credible or interesting. Your actions are so much more important than what you say.
Sure, but we still haven't seen any action from BioWare.
Well, but I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. Like, it's not a good thing. But if Anthem's going to come back, I think Sean Murray's right in the sense that, like, maybe just shut up, work on it, and then talk to me after you put work out. Because obviously with Anthem is a classic case of telling your players your plans is the worst possible thing you can do if you aren't 100% sure that you can enact those plans. Like, talking did not work at all. And half the things that they implemented were sad because they had to push the things that we really cared about back.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point because it's almost opposite to what we've talked about on the podcast before about, communicating to your audience, and just be open and honest with them and tell them how these things are going, because what's the point of keeping everything a secret? Like, if you just let people in, then your community or your audience will understand. But then I also see the validity in this point of don't talk, show. Like, you have work to show for the promises that you're making, basically.
Yeah.
Because that was a problem. They would come out on these streams, these developer streams, and they would have nothing to say. And it's like, yeah, we don't really care about some of these smaller changes you're making. We want to see Cataclysm. We want to actually get to play these big cataclysmic events, or we want the loot system to be fixed. So many different things like that just saying, hey, we're listening to you. Hey, we're listening to our audience, and we're getting feedback, and we're using that feedback. At this point, it's clear that you're not,
Yeah.
Well,
and
I totally agree with this.
It's not enough because I've already spent money on your game.
Yeah.
You've already launched a title. I want to see that title improve. I don't want you to make promises that are in a nebulous future that you can't tell me when it's coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I agree with Murray here, because there's been Destiny and Division are perfect examples of why communication does work. Destiny puts out a blog every week, and they talk about community shit and stuff that most people don't care about. But there's a hot fix every week, and they detail the hot fix in that blog every single week. So they're talking about what they're working on, what's coming down the pipeline, what's being fixed. Division does the same thing. Division still does a stream, I think every other week, it seems like, maybe every week, called State of the Game. And sometimes those State of the Games are just 30 minutes of boring. But, at least they're talking with their players and like, hey, this is what's coming in the pipeline. Warframe still does it every week. They'll talk about things that are 2 years out, but they'll be clear. It's like, hey, this isn't coming anytime soon, but this is something that's on the table. The problem with Anthem is like you said, sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut, and BioWare should have kept their mouth shut, because instead of coming on there and being... I don't want to say they weren't open, because we were watching that one and they were pretty open. It's like, hey, we can't share information because of fucking lawyers. Like, I get it. But they would go on these streams and they would ignore player feedback. They would talk about things that were coming, but they didn't make it clear that we don't have the ability to do these things, because clearly they haven't. Right? They still up until the end of May, we're saying Cataclysms will be out in May, and we're in July, and we still haven't even seen that.
So or they would go into these streams with talking points of, why aren't you guys asking us questions about level design?
Right,
or things? It's
exactly.
like, well, that's not what people want to know.
Exactly. And so, like, it's like, I don't know if they're incapable of doing the things they want to do. Then tell us that. Just come on stream and be like, hey, the things that we wanted to do, we are incapable of doing them. Well, sorry.
And to your point, I think I can't speak to Warframe as much, but I know that Destiny and Division, in comparison to Sea of Thieves and Anthem and Fallout 76, I would argue that they launched in a much better place, and so the changes that needed to be made to those games weren't so drastic.
Oh, sure. No, I completely. Maybe 76, maybe not so much, but I feel like. And they're still working on bringing that game back, but I think I see it on Reddit all the time. The main Fallout Reddit, people will be posting like, I don't know why I slept on Fallout 76. I should not listen. I'm not going to listen to reviewers anymore. I'm just going to go out and try it myself, because it's amazing.
When you look at 76's problems, it's not so much communication about where the game is going, because I think that more so than Sea of Thieves and Anthem, it sort of had like a dedicated fan base that are just love Bethesda games.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that Todd Howard especially sort of turned people off to Bethesda in the callous way that he talked about it.
And
like the IGN first interview where he's like, oh, we knew that this game was going to launch and get bad Metacritic scores and it needed more time. And it's like, well, it's fair that you knew that and you're admitting to knowing that, but also that means that you knew this game had problems. Why didn't you let it cook longer?
Sure.
And to people that aren't dedicated fans of that game previously to that interview, that seemed like really kind of like a weird thing for Bethesda of all companies to say publicly.
Yeah, possibly.
It's almost like to save face, It's like, oh yeah, we knew.
Well, of course.
We knew that was gonna happen.
Of course it was. Todd Howard's whether you like him or not, he's a fucking PR genius.
Yeah,
Like the guy knows how to turn shit around.
Well, and he's never really had to do bad PR.
Right. And so, but the thing with 76 is like you said, it didn't launch it's not a bad game. There were bugs. This is a game's first studios, Bethesda's first foray into any sort of online thing. So, it's like you have to expect it. But it didn't launch it's not a good Fallout game.
Yeah.
It's a terrible Fallout game.
They did a bad job communicating what it was, but also communicating how they're going to bring it more in line with what people expect.
Exactly. But
and to Sean Murray's point, like especially in Bethesda's case, more than and I think Anthem's case too. I think no one really cares about Sea of Thieves. I think people cared about it for like a week and then they forgot about it.
Even though apparently now it's pretty damn good.
I was going to say, like Sea of Thieves is kind of like experienced an uprise.
Yeah,
it's good.
I mean, but like maybe in comparison to
sure,
Anthem,
in comparison, of course.
But in the case of like Fallout, not communicating and just making the game that you made and fixing the problems that you needed to fix probably would have benefited that game to a huge degree, because it very much would have been Bethesda sort of committing to this weird idea that's different. And in Anthem's case, it's like, BioWare's been doing Star Wars The Old Republic, so it's not that they're completely inexperienced with live service models, but had they just not, outside of the beginning where they're like, hey, we're working on shit, had they just kept their mouths shut and started slowly working on things instead of getting in those awkward streams where they're just ignoring the audience and
I think Anthem
disregarding the major questions.
I think Anthem is such an anomaly in this entire conversation because of the development. We saw the Jason Schreier interview. We all read it. The development of Anthem just seemed like an utter shit show of a development cycle. And I think that kind of puts that game with out of the conversation of like Fallout 76 and Destiny, because Bethesda, they do it too. It's only for people who really follow the game, but every week they put out another thing. Every week there's the Inside the Vault, I think is what it's called. It's like the Bungie blog. Like every week they're talking about, this is what we want to do and this is what we're doing. The problem is, the difference is though, is like they're saying, hey, Wastelanders is going to be out in the fall. Wastelanders will be out in the fall. You know what I mean? Because Bethesda knows their limits. Bungie knows their limits. Massive knows their limits. So when they say, hey, this is coming in 2 weeks, it's coming in 2 weeks. Where BioWare, I would have thought it's BioWare. You know what? They've been making games since 1999 or freaking 1997 with Baldur's Gate. They've been making these games, so I would have assumed they would say, hey, we've got this coming out this time. It's going to be out.
Well, and I
just think it's a giant anomaly. And it's still a shit show. I still think it's that article Jason Schreier wrote. I still think those conditions are still at BioWare. I really, really do.
Well, and it's funny too, because we talked about this a couple weeks on the podcast. You weren't here this week, but someone on the Anthem subreddit posted a comparison between the statement that EA recently made about Anthem's future and the statement that EA made about Mass Effect's future, like right before they canceled all their future plans for it.
Sure.
And the wording of those two statements were
close.
Exactly the same.
It was pretty similar.
Yeah.
Eerily similar.
Yeah, I'm not I don't think I don't think giving up on Anthem is a good business move. I really don't.
I agree with that 100%, but I don't think EA would care either way.
Well, yeah, I just because it's a live service game, I think EA might still stand by the statement for another year. We'll see what happens in a year. You know what I mean?
There's some money to be made.
Hey, they're still making money. You go to the Anthem subreddit, and there's still, I don't know how many people are there, but I'm consistently saying, hey, I just bought this. I bought this skin. So people are playing the game and buying shit. So whether or not that's thousands of people or
tens,
dozens, I don't know how many it is. Yeah,
literally tens of people.
Speaking of EA's VP of Strategic Growth says he still struggles with the public perception that EA is, quote, just a bunch of bad guys, end quote. In conversation,
because your fucking lawyers go to Congress and talk about being what that girl say? Surprise mechanics.
In conversation with GameIndustry.biz, he said the following, quote, 25 years at EA and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. We love making and playing games. Unfortunately, when we make mistakes in games, the world knows about it because it's of a size and scale, end quote. He goes on to discuss the company's and this cracks me up, indie publishing project, EA Originals, and how it has given the company the opportunity to support talent and that fans previously felt they had become disconnected from, proving the point that EA has absolutely no idea what it's doing wrong. It cracks me up because it's like, obviously the problem is that we're not supporting smaller creators, not the fact that like we're putting loot boxes in all our games and we don't know how to manage our studios and we don't know how to manage our IPs and we're making studios do things that they previously didn't do. And we shut down Visceral, who even made a good Battlefield knockoff game, which is kind of hard to do. It's just fucking ridiculous.
EA like is getting. Have you ever seen Mean Girls? EA is like Amy Poehler in Mean Girls. She's it's
a cool mom.
Yeah, it's the cool mom who thinks she's super cool, but her tits are rock hard because there's
just a chihuahua hanging
yeah,
off of them.
EA is like the just over the hill mom that still thinks she's super cool.
We're not a regular game publisher. We're a cool.
Yeah, we're cool.
We
guys.
play games.
Yeah, totally.
Let's talk about Nintendo. There's a bunch of Nintendo.
Even though
games
I'll still play EA games because
Of course.
they publish everything.
If you put BioWare's name on any game, I'm going to buy
Sure,
it.
hell,
It doesn't matter.
Even if it's not like, I don't like Respawn games, but I'll be there day one for Star Wars because Metroidvania was mentioned, and I'm like, oh, I'm in.
And Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, why didn't they say any of
and
that?
the gay kid off of Shameless.
Yeah.
Playing a Jedi.
Is he gay?
So the actor isn't gay, but he's famously played like this gay
he's
guy.
He's Joker in
Shameless.
Gotham.
I think people know him more from Shameless than they do Gotham.
Whatever.
I think we're glazing over Forrest Whitaker here.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker's he's part of the Star Wars. He's fucking Saw.
He's also been in Star Wars Rebels. So obviously Forrest Whitaker is willing to whore himself out to any Star Wars thing he can be a part of. No offense. I like you, Forrest Whitaker, but let's be real.
Yeah, did we? I don't know. We were talking about that. Why didn't they mention in all these gameplay demos for
about
The
it
Last
being-
Order it being like, hey, there's going to be some parts where you can't do, but then you go level up and you come back and you can do them. It's like, oh, it's Metroidvania. Why
Because
the fuck
EA
didn't you say that?
I mean,
know
it's
how to
not
show
Star
off their
Wars
games.
Uncharted.
Right,
but
yeah. The cool mom's like, look at this cool lightsaber. That's
You can
basically
move him in front of the bullet.
Yeah,
Huh?
well,
Look at that.
Yeah, I like this meme. If we ever get an FCFL team, our team should be the EA moms.
the EA moms.
It's just like EA's face on like Amy Poehler's Mean Girls body.
I don't think we'll ever get an FCFL team.
Well, I know the guy that runs it.
Well, yeah.
We'll be the Anaheim Canadians.
we live in Texas.
The Anaheim Canadians.
The New Braunfels EA moms. Nintendo has revealed the Switch Lite, which will release on September 20th, 2019.
Fucking assholes.
The new system will feature, and this is from Nintendo's website. This is the wording that they. Well, I made my own wording of it, but they said will feature a smaller 5.5 inch touchscreen.
Hold on, you got it. It's a smaller 5.5.
Nope,
inch
I'm not
touchscreen.
doing that. Nope. Lighter,
Pokemon.
lighter, non-detachable Joy-Cons, a D-pad, no infrared or HD rumble features, and no dock or TV mode. You can buy the system in 3 colors: yellow, gray, and turquoise, which I actually really like the colors. For $199.99.
The Pokemon one's badass.
That's fine. While many of the Switch features have been cut from this model, Nintendo has stated that the new console will have a battery life of 3 to 7 hours, as opposed to the original's 2.5 to 6.5
30
hours.
more minutes. Woo!
Sweet.
So here's the thing about the Switch Lite. I'm just going to die on my hill about this, and the internet can get mad because the internet's going to be mad anyways, but absolutely 1,000% the Switch Lite is for none of us at this table.
Oh, of course not.
It is for children. It is for parents of children.
It's
and the internet getting mad that the system isn't what they wanted it to be. They're completely stupid and self-centered because Nintendo is a gaming company for children. And so obviously they are going to make a product that is for children.
Or Whitney.
Is she interested in this?
She wants a Pokemon one.
doesn't
but
want the
that's
blue
why,
one?
right?
No, she wants that Pokemon one.
Oh, that's so silly. The blue one is exactly her color of blue.
Sure, but it's
turquoise?
Pokemon.
I know, but the
It's a
Pokemon
special
one
edition
isn't even...
Pokemon.
It's just gray with different colored buttons.
Yeah, I like the Pokemon.
It's got the engravings on the back.
Yeah, I
look
like the
pretty
I guess
cool.
it'll be nice for you because that means that whenever the Switch Lite
yeah,
comes out...
I get the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's exactly why people are probably going to buy them for their kids, because now if you
Sure,
have
this
a
is
Switch, it can permanently
This
stay
is
docked.
literally a 2DS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the thing that I had talked about maybe like last year, that Nintendo would eventually stop supporting their other handhelds and basically just make Switch that.
I think
that's what this will be.
I think low key you've been right for the last year. I'm sure there's 3DS games coming out, but I haven't seen.
I think the last like sort of big game that came out this year was Persona Q2.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, you know, like I said, I think your 2-year ago prediction is low key right. Like, I don't.
A year later than it needed to be.
Sure,
right.
yeah, but
It was a long term.
yeah, no, you were paving the road, right? You were the
If
fucking
you had said it a year
scout,
later, I think
yeah.
you probably would have gotten it this year.
But 2 years ago, we gave you shit about it because it's like that would be dumb for Nintendo to stop supporting the 3DS because it's a fucking monster of a system. I mean,
here we are.
Here we are. Like you said, the Q was the last one, I think.
In
big
our
profile
defense,
one.
in our defense, both of us said at the time that he was right. It just wasn't going to happen in 2018.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. That's
and
true.
We
I didn't
supported
think-
you. We just
yeah.
thought you were wrong.
I didn't think it was going to happen in 2018, but I
But,
definitely thought that the Switch was too similar to what they already had.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. This is what Nintendo does. I don't know why I should. I'm not mad about it, and I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Well, Justin, if you decide you want to Switch Lite, I will buy your Switch from you for $200.
Don't do it. You have a better system.
No.
Good man.
I do like the colors though.
Yes.
That is something I'm glad they went
Yeah,
with
I
like
really
they went with really non-traditional colors for a console.
I really like the. I mean, I personally.
I like the
Pokemon.
gray,
The
and
yellow,
blue.
gray,
The yellow
and the
looks pretty cool. I would never own a yellow system, and if I were to buy it, I'd probably buy the gray one. But I like the blue.
But they don't have a black or a red or anything. Those are like I don't know. I just feel like those are common console systems. So it's cool to see like, oh, those are different.
And to me, just based off of the size and sort of the way that it's shaped, it reminds me a lot of a Vita.
Sure.
And, you know, at some point this year, I'm going to buy a Switch. Like, Fire Emblem comes out in like 2 weeks. And if we weren't moving...
Does it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
the
shit.
26th.
Oh shit.
Animal Crossing got pushed back to next year.
Yeah, but, like, Pokemon comes out this year. Like, that's enough of a reason for
Animal
all of us
Crossing
to
got
own
pushed
it.
Is
back to
it?
next
Man, I
year.
can't believe the backlash Pokemon's getting.
We'll talk about that, too.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
But I'm going to buy a Switch this year. And I don't see myself buying a Switch Lite. Like, I mean...
No, don't. No.
The,
You got that nice TV and everything. Don't.
the price
yeah,
is
no.
the price is like nice, but like for me, like
Is it that big of a difference?
it's
$100.
$100.
Our Switch is still $300.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But you know, like I like Joy-Cons. I like the fact that you can detach them and customize your console.
that's great.
I like the dock mode that I probably won't use that much. Like, you know, I owned a Switch for like 2 weeks before I felt bad and took it back. And it was a really enjoyable experience. But I really like how the Switch Lite is sort of embracing the Vita-ness of the Switch.
Yeah, I already have a hard time looking at the damn screen because it's so small. That's just me showing my fucking age. I'll be 36 in 3 months. So.
Glasses go at the tip of the
Yeah,
nose.
like I'm like this, but like I really loved playing the Switch because it was easy. Like I could sit on my chair. It's like a deep chair, so I could sit cross-legged and have the screen here and literally be like a fucking lazy slum. I really enjoy the Joy-Cons. The Switch Lite is definitely not my.
Yeah.
The only thing I
thing.
thought for you, which I don't think you should own a Switch Lite either, but you had a problem playing it like this because it hurt your wrists a lot.
Sure, which is why the
I feel like
detachable stuff is nice.
I feel like the smaller form factor would be nice for you.
Maybe, but the
the
thing
screen would make you sick.
the
still.
thing that hurt my wrist was it's still the button layout. The
okay.
button layout of the Switch is fucking atrocious. Like
It's carpal tunnel waiting to happen.
Yeah, 100%. It's made for dudes with like fucking Trump hands. Like that's who it's made for. And you know, I have fairly large hands, so it's like it's annoying.
You need
but-
the Duke. You need the Duke.
Yeah, I
of
need
the
the Duke.
Nintendo.
I need a fucking classic controller for a 3DS. Is what I need. I mean a Switch.
The Pro.
Pro.
Is there a Pro controller
Yeah.
out? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's nice.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
In defense of the thing that you just said about me not buying a light, you definitely have pushed me from like 90% to 100% because just the idea of playing Pokemon on the big screen.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
that's
100%.
Really fucking cool.
100%. It's Pokemon. It's finally a Pokemon.
If you,
game.
I just feel like if you're gonna get a Switch, just commit. Come on.
Yeah,
just,
$100.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just don't get one extra game.
More about the Switch. As reported by The Verge, Nintendo has submitted a new filing to the FTC requesting permission to alter production on existing Nintendo Switches. It appears as though Nintendo intends on attempting to update the system on chip, NAND memory type, and CPU board. These changes could, in theory, promote better game speed, decrease load times, and improve battery life. So, if you are looking to buy a Switch, you might want to
Fucking
wait a couple
trade-in
months.
program.
Yeah, for real. Well, I feel like this is also. I guarantee. So they develop the Switch Lite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're looking at expected battery life. They're like, shit, it's only 30 minutes better.
Yeah.
Shit, it still has a 720 display. we have to make this better to make it seem more
Not even like
deluxe.
720.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the
technically,
Switch Lite is
It's like
720.
700.
Yeah.
They're both technically 720.
719.
And it's almost 1080 if you plug it into the dock.
But it's not surprising that they would want to boost the deluxe.
Yeah, you know what?
Switch.
I already fucking
make it
hate,
look better.
I hated, and I still hate it, and I hope it doesn't happen in this next console generation. I fucking hated the halfway point of the upgrade. I fucking hate it.
Well-
and this isn't even halfway. We're
Well-
like 2 years in,
But
and they're upgrading the damn console.
That's the other thing about like Switch rumors, though, is we
Bother shit out of me.
reported on this like back in March, I think.
Sure.
That the other rumor is that in the spring there's supposed to be like a Switch Pro model that they're supposed to announce. So it's. I mean, Nintendo has always done this. Like we want to like. Yes, it's very easy to be mad about it and get frustrated about it. But Nintendo, before Sony and Microsoft did it all the time. Like, just think about how many different versions of the fucking Advance and DS there are.
Yeah.
But in this case, like when you start getting up to the point where you're spending $300 on a system,
That's the issue.
That's when it starts getting really
Yes,
annoying.
because like a DS, like back in the day, a brand new DS was
$200.
$200, maybe $149 if you could get it on sale. And then the next, right, you had the DS, and the DS Lite came out, made it smaller, made it more compact, but it was still like $200, $200, and it consistently stayed there. And then the price started getting lower. Upgrades started happening, and the price got lower. This Switch Pro is going to be $350, $350, and
I
it's,
think it'll be
Switch
300.
Plus.
yeah,
something
well,
like that.
yeah, sure. But I'm just saying we're in a price range now where it's just not okay to have these every year and a half upgrades. It's just not cool.
Well, because then now it's getting treated like a handheld console or a handheld console.
Yeah.
And it's not, but it is.
That $100 difference between
a
2
lot.
and 300, even though like it's $100 isn't that much, but when you're thinking about a $200
But no, dude,
item,
$100 is a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot, but when you're thinking about a $200 item versus a $100 item,
Yeah.
it's not that crazy. But when you start thinking about 2 to 300, that's where you're like, oh, $300 is a lot.
Yeah, that's
Right.
well, even just coming from a guy who's trying to remodel a house on a fucking $10 budget, like $100 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and you're even right going from 200 to 300. That's like
That's breaking the bank.
it is $300 could be breaking somebody's bank in a month.
Yeah.
And hardcore Nintendo players are going to want the Switch Pro.
Well,
and it's just not cool because you're buying this knowing in another year and a half, there's going to be another version of the Switch.
Yeah.
Like I said, I already hated the PS4 Pro, Xbox One X shit, but at least there was like 3 to 4 years in between these two things. I just, Nintendo's business practices, you're right, they don't change, but now we're getting borderlines like now it's not cool, man.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're
but
spending
this is
more
not
money
cool.
on
Yeah.
shit.
But this is also one of the first times that, aside from the handheld side of Nintendo, they don't really do this. Like GameCube, there was just a GameCube. Wii, there was just a Wii. Sure, they did the Wii U, but this is kind of now we're getting into an era where they're like, okay, well, let's do upgraded Switch models.
Sure.
And I think that's because, again, getting away from the 3DS, now they're bringing maybe some of those practices into this.
Yeah,
So we're
possibly.
going to see
I
a lot
mean,
of those things.
We're always going to see that with their handhelds.
Yeah.
It's because they've been doing it for years.
Except Sony.
Specifically Nintendo.
Yeah,
more than anyone
Nintendo.
else.
Sony handled handhelds pretty damn good if I'm remembering my history right. Like
Yeah, they only had
They
a
had a
they had a
PSP.
cheaper model that came out because the OLED screens were getting too
Yep.
expensive to produce.
Yep.
But man, I want another Vita.
I do too, man.
I love the Vita.
Gosh, that was a great little
Like
system.
I'm not Greg Miller, love a Vita, but like the Vita had so much potential that no one ever cashed in.
Never had a Vita.
Oh, it was a great
I had a
little
PSP. That was
loved it.
fun.
Not the Go, not the mobile one.
Oh, okay,
Just-
like an actual.
No, yeah, like an actual PSP. But no, I would love to see Sony do another handheld. That'd be great.
Now we've already started stoking the Nintendo rage fires.
Here it
Let's go
comes.
ahead and just throw in all the logs that we have at our disposal.
All the Pokemon logs.
Pokemon Sword and Shield received a new trailer. The trailer featured 4 new Pokemon: Alcremie, a fairy cream Pokemon that looks like a dessert; Yamper, the electric
Looks
corgi
like
Pokemon,
jizz.
yeah, who was previously seen at E3; Duraludon, the Dragon Steel Pokemon;
He looked cool.
and Roly-Coly, a rock Pokemon that sheds coal.
I haven't seen any of these.
They're all right. I like
Duralor,
Yamper.
the Dragon Steel one looked pretty cool.
Someone made a meme of like the Dialga fucking something and then making it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can see that. It was also revealed that each version of the game will feature version-exclusive gyms. Finally, if Dynamaxing wasn't enough for the Godzilla fans out there, Sword and Shield will also feature Gigantamaxing, which makes Pokemon even bigger and changes their appearance. Of course, with all the recent National Dex controversy, many fans are not pleased by some of the animations in the game as well.
Oh, well, that was my favorite thing was the animations. I think the lead designer came out and said one of the reasons they're not putting so many Pokemon in this game is because they want to take more time to put better animations for the existing Pokemon. But then somebody showed animations in the game, and
It's like
just
Yamper,
There's a
sliding
comparison.
yeah, they're
out,
just
and
they're
then he,
just
slides and wiggles
they're
his
just
butt and slides
not
back.
good animations at all.
bad.
It's like don't fucking say that if your animations are going to look like shit. Then somebody even did another comparison video where they took a Chinese knockoff of a Pokemon game, and the animations are fucking phenomenal.
Oh, no.
So
They're so good.
here's my 2 cents on the National Dex controversy.
Yes, give us your 2 cents.
So a couple weeks before E3, someone posted something on a Pokemon subreddit, basically citing sources and talking about how the Pokemon Company and Nintendo are two separate things, and Pokemon Company handles more of the licensing, whereas Nintendo handles the game stuff, but they kind of share revenue back and forth. And for a while, Game Freak was really, really important to both companies because the Pokemon games sold so much. However, since Pokemon Go came out, it's sort of been proven that Game Freak isn't really needed. I was talking to our friend Pearl yesterday, and she cited a source that basically said something like, Pokemon Go in 9 months made more money than an entire generation of Pokemon games does.
I can see that happening.
And so the whole point of this post was basically that now that Game Freak is needed less, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company basically abuse them to the point where they have to put out a game every year, and they're really small teams dedicated to making these games. So someone put that out there. It got a lot of traction. People were really supportive of it, and everyone was feeling really bad for Game Freak. And then Game Freak came out and was like, there's no National Dex. Without seeing the internet, my opinion was, well, of course there's no National Dex. They just made a Pokemon game last year. They're putting out a new one this year. They're making yearly games, and they're transferring to a brand new system. It is not surprising to me that they're not putting the National Dex in because they have to animate all 800 Pokemon for the Switch, and that's going to be hard. And the thing that sucks about Game Freak is that I 100% believe that this is the case outside of this one anecdotal, Reddit post I read. I don't really have a lot of proof. But they're also in a position where they can't come out and be honest. Mm-hmm. They can't come out and say Pokemon Company and Nintendo are working us too hard. And that's why this game isn't turning into everything you guys want it to be. And I think that's rough and it sucks. And I think that a lot of the hate they're getting is sort of from fans that aren't really clued into the actual issue.
Yeah, I mean, also, silly names aside, like Gigantamaxing and what was it?
Dynamaxing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Dynamaxing.
And Gigantamaxing.
Yeah.
They're both there.
But so silly names aside, I would imagine that probably also factors into it because we had talked about it before with the Dynamaxing. It just made them bigger. It didn't change their look. With this, and I haven't read too much detail into it, but it seems like you can either Gigantamax or Dynamax any Pokemon?
There was a leak that's that has been 100% correct. Like everything this guy leaked has been coming true over time. And the way that he put it in the leak was that only specific Pokemon can Gigantamax.
That kind of makes sense because I was going to say that would maybe factor into it because then they would also have to make alternate versions for people for animations and designs for the Gigantamax version of them as well. But if it's only certain ones, then maybe not. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, not a huge Pokemon game fanboy. Obviously, I grew up playing Pokemon, but I'm not as invested into it as most of the internet is. But I'm excited for this. I think it'll be fine. I'm excited I'm ready for a Pokemon game to be on the Switch or like a true Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. And, quotes around true because obviously this one has some things in it that haven't been in Pokemon games before. But I don't know. I feel like, especially with Pokemon, it's a property that lots of people care about. So people are just always going to judge it super harshly.
Yeah.
I feel like what expectations did people have that aren't being met? Or, aside from the National Dex, like that was never set. It was never promised that was going to happen. So why is there such?
I don't think it's so if I go to McDonald's,
Okay.
I order a Big Mac.
I'm with you.
Big Mac in 1996 is the exact same thing as it was now.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed in 20 years.
Medium Coke, medium fries, and a Big Mac.
Medium Coke, medium fries, Big Mac. Literally, McDonald's hasn't changed since 1996. But that's maybe an over-exaggeration.
Now they have a special like French Big Mac.
Sure, yeah. But for the most part, you go order number one, you know what you're getting from 1996 to 2019. Since Pokemon, I would probably say fucking gold and silver, there's been a National Dex. Since then. And every iteration of Pokemon, every single generation, even up to Sun and Moon, which was 2016?
2017?
No, it was 2016.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay,
It was 2016.
it was like April.
2017 was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
There you go.
2018
There you
was
go.
Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, all the way up to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, there's been a National Dex. So having a 8th generation Pokemon game come out without a National Dex is dumb. Because it's like, it's that McDonald's comparison. It's always been there.
Well-
and I get stuff needs to change. I get it. And I get the idea that, hey, we're being worked too hard. And that's never a good thing. I think we've all agreed, like, we don't want to see game developers have to be overworked, but that's a 3-year development cycle for a Pokemon game. Where,
A staff of 143.
Yeah, with
Rumor
100
is also making a Pokemon game every year.
Sure, with 143. What, were they making a Pokemon game every year? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I guess Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Yeah, no, and I don't know how. To me, this game just looks a higher resolution of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, I agree with
I don't know if that's I don't know how development works. I don't. So I could be speaking in ignorance, but in my head, it's like it's not like copy paste, but you're basically kind of like. I don't know. I'm not a.
I have two theories because someone posted a really good video yesterday basically showing that animations that we saw in the most recent trailer were in previous Pokemon games.
Sure.
So obviously there's some level of being able to transfer models between two games. However, one of the things that I can't remember if you were here or if you were here, but we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Luke Smith basically said like the chances of Destiny 1 content ever making the complete switch to Destiny 2 is impossible because of file sizes. Yep. So I wonder having a higher resolution model.
Well, here's
makes the game like ridiculously big.
Sure, but so here's my.
Not that I'm not trying to defend them.
No,
I don't
no,
care
no.
either
But
way,
the thing is like, okay, you don't give us a National Dex, but you give us Gigantigiz.
Yeah, I am 100% on your side.
You know what I mean? It's like, don't give us this and just give us give us a regular Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. If you didn't put the big Pokemon in, if you didn't put all these, basically Pokemon Go inspired things, I love the raid battles. I think they look like so much fun. I never knew I wanted multiplayer Pokemon until I saw how those raid battles work.
It's a really good transfer of a Go mechanic that seemed dumb.
Exactly.
And it's a better way of implementing it.
However, I didn't need it. I just needed a Pokemon game with 8 gyms, a league, and a National Dex. Mm-hmm. That's all anybody needs. Mm-hmm. Where that decision came from, I don't know. Probably Nintendo. They saw Pokemon Go. It's like, you guys need to put these things into your games now. Yeah. And, that sucks. That really fucking sucks because you've got this company who, hypothetically speaking, if that's the truth, you've got this company that has put so much money into a franchise that I've been playing since day one. I was 14 years old when Red and Blue came out. And I've been playing since day one. And I'm still going to play this and I'm going to enjoy it because it's Pokemon, but it's just weird. Mm-hmm. I don't need any of this. I never needed any of this. They didn't add any of this in any of them. Having the Mega Evolutions and the
good enough for me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
It's super cool having this new mechanic. But from generation 1 all the way through generation, I would say 6, it never changed and it never needed to.
Interesting sidebar, not exactly a counterpoint to what you're saying, but something that I hadn't realized until I literally watched a video about this yesterday. Someone on YouTube broke down the history of the National Dex, and their basic point was that up until generation 6,
which was X and Y, yes.
Which was X and Y. You could not capture all the Pokemon in one generation.
Sure.
That instead, like if you look at Gold and Silver, a lot of the decks in Gold and Silver you had to transfer from Red and Blue.
Yep.
Ruby and Sapphire, you could get a lot of the Pokemon once Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, but you really needed the Coliseum games to completely 100% your Pokedex in those games. And so, I guess if you're asked, if I'm presenting my opinion about this, of course we're in the modern era where Pokemon games have had all the Pokemon in it. And you just need 2 games and it's fine and it's whatever. However, I would rather have a game where you just limit the Pokemon that are available than a game like the 4th generation games where you had to transfer between 6 different games. And own everything and have 4 different systems.
I'm trying to think. I would say the last mainline Pokemon game that I enjoyed, because I hated Sun and Moon. I thought the idea of the quest was dumb. I didn't like the Z moves. I didn't like anything.
Can I guess what that game was for you?
Sure.
Black and White 2.
Actually, it was X and Y.
Really?
Yeah, because I X and Y, if I'm not mistaken, I would say 90% of the Pokemon in Pokemon were capturable in X and Y.
Oh, those were the first games where you could capture every Pokemon between those 2 games.
Right. And so, you gave us that. You know what I mean? That's my point. Like McDonald's.
It was there.
McDonald's gave us the Big Mac, and it's there, in all its glory. I hate the Big Mac, by the way. Sorry. McDonald's gave us the double quarter pounder with cheese, and it's been there, in all its glory. And now McDonald's is taking that away, or Nintendo's taking away that ability. I don't know. It's weird. I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna buy it. Still gonna buy a second Switch so Whitney and I can play together. Yeah. It's just really. Hopefully this is right. Fingers crossed. With the infrastructure that we have in video games nowadays, is a year down the line, Pokemon
updates it and puts it national.
Sword and Shield can
can
update it, and we can have what we want.
That's kind of
which is the other thing.
I'm kind of expecting.
Yeah,
sure,
hoping maybe.
Yeah. It is 6:49. We need to move
shit.
on. This is our last Nintendo news. During the Q&A portion of Nintendo's annual general meeting of shareholders, Nintendo was asked why it has been, quote, a little slow, end quote, to join trends such as cloud game computing, mobile, and VR. Shigeru Miyamoto disagreed with the basis of the question and responded, quote, "We have not fallen behind with either VR or network services. We worked on them from the very beginning and have been experimenting with them in a variety of ways. In that time, we have objectively evaluated whether they actually allow our consumers to have an enjoyable play experience and whether we can operate them at an appropriate cost. Because we don't publicize this until we release a product, it may look like we're falling behind." Chris, you're about to explode.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I have one simple point about this. I don't care that Nintendo is not making a great online experience. I don't care that they're not supporting cloud computing.
That's not why we play Nintendo.
We play Nintendo because they are the best game developer and most consistent game developer in the market right now. And it is 100% okay for Miyamoto to have said, we just don't care about those things. We're making good games.
Or it's just like that's not what we do.
Yep.
That's not why you play our games.
Yeah.
Don't invest in the VR, Nintendo.
Well, no, I mean,
that'd be terrible.
I thought you were going somewhere else. I was going to say, don't fucking pander to us.
Well, that too.
We know it's fucking true. You have to download a separate app on your phone to talk to somebody. Come on.
And the app's not even good. You might as well just use fucking Discord.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't think it's gonna be a good experience.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, we don't think it's.
No, don't do that. Stop it.
Don't pander to us, Nintendo. Assholes.
4,000 people have signed a Change.org petition asking controversial video games key reseller G2A to stop selling indie games through its marketplace. This has come as a response to G2A's recent attempt to defend the business after game developers requested that fans pirate their games rather than purchase them from G2A. The company only added fuel to the fire by claiming in a blog post that only 8% of the games sold on G2A are from indie titles. Hoping to call their bluff, indie game publisher No More Robots and its founder Mike Rose launched the petition themselves.
Wow.
Sign a petition for anything.
Yeah, well, I
think this is a good petition, but I also want to see the petition of like people buying games from G2A.
Don't
stop buying games from G2A, other video gamers.
There are definitely games on G2A that have been there's definitely codes that have been stolen, but as a person that has gone to conventions and seen the video game industry, I'm just not surprised. I would say most of those are fairly, I'd say maybe 75% of the codes on G2A are just people that got extra fucking codes because they get handed out like candy in this industry.
But
it's almost like the publisher's fault for handing out all these fucking codes.
I'm not a game developer, and I like buying digital games because I like supporting developers.
Sure.
However, I have bought games from G2A. And I think that part of that issue comes down to the fact that games are still really, really expensive. Like if I could buy PS4 codes on G2A, I might have already done it. Because like a game like Assassin's Creed Origins, which I still really want to play, is still $50 in store and on the PSN. Yes.
It's over a year old.
It's 2 years old.
Oh.
And Origins at one point
I'm thinking of the Greek one, sorry.
was more expensive than Assassin's Creed Odyssey for like 2 months.
Oh, but Odyssey's better.
Exactly, but and Odyssey's a newer game. But what harm would it do Ubisoft to drop the price on that game?
Oh, man,
Especially at this point.
Yeah, and so like, this is not about indie developers because indie developers I think do a really good job of pricing out their games.
Yep.
But like, I think that the fact that people here's the truth about pirating and everything else. If you give people an easy and cheap way to access your games, they are going to do it 100% of the time rather than go somewhere else and do it. Like iTunes 100% proved that. iTunes, in a really significant way, put a huge dent into pirating music online because songs were 99 cents. So I think that like publishers and store owners need to look at that and think about the way that games are priced on their storefronts. Because I think most gamers would like to do it the most legitimate way possible because we're all lazy.
Sure.
If I can not type g2a.com into my browser, I've had a good day.
Yeah, I mean,
You wouldn't download a car, okay?
Is that what is it, VHS things?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh yeah, you wouldn't steal a car.
You wouldn't steal a house or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, this is fucking. Those are great. Yeah. Anyway, for those of you who are very young, those were in the front of VHS and DVDs.
Yeah.
It's like this '90s grunge. Da, 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 da. You wouldn't pirate a car,
And it's really funny.
Actually, most people would.
If you had the option.
Yeah, if you had the option, you'd probably would. Yeah.
That's why I want a 3D printer.
Yeah.
So I can just download a car.
Here's the side tangent. Could you 3D print parts for a 3D printer and make more 3D printers?
No.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Go
I
on.
don't think you could.
I think it would be. I think you would have to get some parts that weren't part of the printer
Well, I think
because, like, unless it.
I don't know
unless
what
it,
makes up a 3D. It's magic to me.
Unless it does like different types of plastic, like you'd have to think that there are belts and things that are moving the parts along that you wouldn't be able to 3D print because it'd just be hard plastic.
You can 3D print most of it.
so.
no, I agree. I think you could.
I don't think you could because I don't know if the plastic's hard enough.
But you would also need to like buy a CPU and a
Yeah,
GPU and all of that. Like you couldn't
be an
3D print a.
That's like, I mean, like that question is like, could you CNC a CNC machine? Like there, it's like, yeah, because it's made out of metal.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could 3D print a 3D printer.
Well, and to your point, it would create a lot of heat. So then wouldn't the parts just start to melt?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's the thing. I think it's the material. So the answer would be no.
Dang, my business model just fell apart.
sorry,
all in one.
We should play Super
sitting.
Fight sometime because, like, I feel like we all do.
Is that the one where you like get two people and you have to argue who would win a fight?
But you like pick up cards and you create a superhero based off the cards you have to like. Because I feel like we all like change sides enough when someone makes a reasonable point.
It's like, yeah, I can see that.
I feel like it'd be a really fair game of Super Fight. It's like, oh no, he 100% is right. A Velociraptor with laser eyes would totally beat a Girl Scout with super strength.
That'd be a fun, like, just like bullshitty thing to do on a stream at one point.
Yeah.
Just for like 30 minutes, it's us playing just
Super
super fight.
Last up in the news, and the thing that Chris probably cares about most on this news list, and yet another savvy and intelligent move by The Division 2, a new update for the game adds matchmaking for the Operation Dark Hours raid. Players can now queue into the raid via the new Discovery difficulty mode. The Discovery mode appears to be easier than the standard mode, but it will not give players the exotic gear exclusive to the raid. Although Ubisoft promises that the mode will still offer players, quote, a variety of great rewards, end quote. Ubisoft went on to explain, this is a part that I love about, I absolutely love this. I want to just like cheer for Ubisoft. Ubisoft went on to explain that the Discovery mode difficulty has been added to, quote, allow more players to experience the Division 2 in its entirety, end quote. The update has also added 2 new main missions and a new experience called Expeditions, which are made up of 3 themed wings that players must complete on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Massive and Ubisoft.
I know, man. I think there's a lot of people that are just, if you go to the Division 2 subreddit, and a lot of them are YouTubers and streamers, but they just flame the shit out of the Division. But it's because Massive made a game that's not theirs anymore. Does that make sense? Massive made a game that is literally for everybody. It's a game where I can go and jump in for an hour or two a week and feel like I've gotten something done. And that's just phenomenal fucking game design.
Yeah.
Unlike Destiny, like you jump in for an hour and you don't get anything done. You just don't. And,
Well,
and that's, that's just the game they made.
And there's like 4 raids in there that there's a good chance I won't ever experience.
Yeah. 100%.
And I would love an easy mode for all of them just to run through and see shit.
Yep.
I don't need the raid gear. I don't need to be rewarded for it. Just let me like play the shit that I bought.
Yep.
Right.
I love this. That update's not out just yet.
Oh, okay.
But
it sounded like it was out.
It's the new update. I think it's like next week or the week after. It's in July.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I love Massive as developers. I think they're nailing the Division. To me, they are. To like streamers and YouTubers, it's just not their game anymore because it's not something they can go and play for 8 hours a day.
It's a Destiny 2 situation.
Yeah, it is.
It's-
100%.
In a year, it's going to be different.
I hope not. I really do. I hope Division stays exactly where it's at.
Well, I meant different in the way that people approach the game.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think-
sure,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
people are going to be back on board when
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot more shit to do.
Yeah.
And that no one should be surprised that in the first 6 months of a game's launch that it hasn't
Sure.
completely ironed out its
Yeah,
in-game.
sure, but for a game like Division, it's okay to be able to go through all that content in a week. It's okay to have what is to streamers a day's worth of content stretched out to us. It's a month. That's okay. And I love it. I think Massive is nailing in a development cycle for Division.
I agree.
Because just when I like stop playing Division, it's like, well, here comes this. Holy shit, I can go do the raid. Thank you.
And it's not,
right?
it's not like Destiny 2 where you have to get married to that fucking game.
Exactly.
You can put it down and play 76 or Borderlands 2 or Fallout 4
Man,
and not feel bad that you're not working on something in Destiny 2. Which is my biggest problem jumping back into Destiny 2.
Yeah, Chris said it perfectly. It's like this is a game that is made more so for everybody than just your typical streamer audience.
I don't want to get too much into Destiny, but good God.
We don't have time.
I know, but you and I both started playing it. It's like, gosh, man, I can't play for more than 2 hours, and I can't do anything in 2 hours.
And I love Destiny 2. I think Destiny 2 is in the best place it has ever been. But I think that like a Destiny 2 that you have to devote all your time to is not a healthy game.
No, it's not a healthy
and it's
game
not,
at all.
It's not the kind of gaming with any game. It's not just Destiny 2. With any game, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want a game that I can walk away from and not feel like I'm being left behind or that I'm not
Or
living up to my
It's impossible to be a casual Destiny 2 player. Otherwise, you just feel like you're just running in place.
Yeah,
you have a lot of fun. You're getting to run in place. You're having fun. But then you get off and you're like, fuck, I'm still in the same place.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. Yeah.
Or you're making 1% progress and it's like
It's
the
not
new
a
season's coming up in 2 months. I gotta
it's not a good
rush.
feeling, man. It's just not. So I don't know. They're not going to fix it. This is where they want to be. So we'll see what Shadowkeep does. I don't know.
I think I'm always going to be playing Destiny. I'm always going to come back to it. But I have to get to the point where I recognize that I'm never going to be like Dado and everything in the game. Quick save. Stop me if you care. Cuphead is getting its own animated series via Netflix. The series will be titled The Cuphead Show and will be hand-drawn by Netflix's in-house animation studio. I had a dream about this the other day.
I didn't know Netflix had an in-house animation
Yeah,
studio.
they do Disenchanted, the Simpsons guys
I didn't know
fantasy
they
show.
did all that. That's right.
Yeah. They do BoJack Horseman, which I think is great.
I don't know what that is.
The Xbox.
Love Death Robot thing. That one. Yeah, go on.
Love, Death, Robot.
Is that
Death, Robot.
no? That's from random people, isn't it? Or is that all from Netflix?
I don't know.
It's
I
Netflix
thought it was-
original, but maybe they didn't.
I thought it was all.
I
like,
mean, it may
original
have all been
animators.
animated
Okay.
in-house by different people. I don't know, but it was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
If you haven't watched it, watch it.
If you haven't watched Stranger Things season 3, watch it. 'Cause it's
Well,
fucking
I don't think
amazing.
anyone has not watched
Oh
Stranger
my
Things.
God.
season
That's what I
three.
did on 4th of
So
July.
good.
Oh man, I was up
I know.
waiting.
Netflix-
I was up waiting for it to launch. Watched 2 episodes, fell asleep, and then I was up all night watching it after I got off work. that
Netflix
day.
is all like, "Hey, America, you want to celebrate your Independence Day? Nope. Stranger Things 3. Anything you had canceled is now null and void."
Isn't it okay? Am I
Because
crazy?
that's exactly what we did. We had 4th of July plans, didn't do any of it.
Nope, we
Am
stayed
I
inside.
crazy for feeling like?
Yes.
No.
I feel like Stranger Things season 3 is 100% no debate. I can't see anyone telling me I'm wrong about this, but I worry that I'm being too stubborn. It is perfect television. Like I thought that there were zero issues.
Did you finish it?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a masterpiece. I loved every minute of that show, and I thought from beginning to end it was just perfect.
I don't think there was any. Oh, so to your point, we've tried to go back and rewatch 1 and 2.
I rewatched all of them before.
And 1 felt like a slog. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. At the time, it didn't.
Because it's so dark.
Maybe. At the time, it didn't feel like. With the first time watching it, it didn't feel like that. Second time through, it's like.
It's very, very dark. And so
it feels like a slog. 2, not so much, but there's some episodes in 2. Like, I still hate the 8 and 11 episode
because it's dark.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, not only is dark, it's like you have this great story going, and then it's like boom, sidebar.
Oh yeah, because it's like right when they start doing all the
please get back to the important stuff.
I would agree with you. We've only watched it once. I'm sure I'll watch it again, but I think season 3 is just fucking phenomenal.
It's great. It's great TV.
It's just so good. And it's the little. Have you watched it? Do you even care about spoilers? You watch it.
You've seen it.
It's the little things, right? I don't know why this is such an impact for me, but Will being gay is awesome, and it's not like a huge moment. It's just like it's an argument. Mike's like, it's not my fault you don't like girls. It's like.
I joked about it in our D&D group.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, when Will's trying to play D&D and he's going back home, and Mike's like, "It's not my fault you don't like girls." It's like, Will's
I didn't take it as that. I just thought he just
I did because Mike and Will.
I just thought he just hadn't reached the age to like girls.
There's no fucking way because when I was 12 years old, are you fucking
they're
kidding
14
me?
now.
Well, okay, they were 14 when I was 14 years old.
True.
Dude, I was trying to get a glimpse at anything I fucking could.
Season 1. Joyce tells Hopper that his dad left because he thinks that Will's gay.
Yeah.
Season 2, he gets beat up by bullies and called a gay slur.
Yeah.
Season 3 is the first time where they've actually like talked about it as kids, and they don't say it. It's not like
that's the thing. That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing. Is it's not a big deal.
It's just sort of mentioned offhand.
It's a mentioned offhand that only Mike would probably know because Mike and Will are best friends, and it's just like that little thing. And I kind of leaned back. I was like. Yeah, I mean, I knew he was gay, but it's so good how they handled just those.
And he doesn't try to defend it like it's a derogatory thing.
Just those little things. Good. Those little tiny details about that show is what makes it fucking amazing.
Well, and it's just like, I think, and that's also part of the reason why I am so like have this huge opinion about it is. I joked about it in our D&D group, but I related so hard to Will this season.
Guys, can we just play D&D? No.
And it's just like
girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the fact that I want to play D&D, but it's also the fact that when we look at our table, everyone except no offense, Ev, everyone except for Ev and I are like they're in a relationship and the relationship is getting serious and people live together and they have lives and they're seeing their family and stuff. And in a lot of ways, I haven't progressed in that way.
I would exclude Pearl and Lydia from that and Taylor and Kat because they just play D&D together.
It works out well.
Me and
this table, this table.
But getting us all to hang out together.
Yeah.
We have this conflict all the time where I sit down, we have 3 hours to play D&D. I want to play D&D because that's what we're here to do. Meanwhile, because you guys all have lives and are busy, you only see each other once a week and you want to hang out and talk. And for me, hanging out and talking is playing D&D.
Sure, yeah.
And so seeing Will struggle on screen, especially since Chris and I had a discussion about this like a week or so ago, seeing that on screen was really impactful for me as a person because it's this is other people feel this way and you're not immature or stupid in an unrealistic way for feeling like Will.
Yeah, no, you just relate to a 14-year-old.
Yeah. I also
shut up. Let me have my realization and be comfortable with it, you asshole.
I also loved that Will was never in danger of the thing, right?
It was never Will have a regular time.
It was never after Will. Will was more of a catalyst of hey, it's coming. It's like, man, that's fucking awesome. Like
he had that connection, but it wasn't for him.
I fucking love that the 4, 5, 6 main kids, including Max and 11, weren't ever really in danger until over halfway through that season.
And the
I
villain
loved
was
it.
really kind of cool and great, and actually hearing them communicate what they wanted was cool.
The first episode I was in. The first episode, it's like, hey, what do you want to do? Let's go to the mall. It's like, fuck, that's what I did when I was 14.
It was great. It's good stuff.
Loved it.
If you haven't seen this show,
I do not have a mall. Oh, you were.
I lived in the middle of an Air Force.
No,
base.
Dude. I mean,
we didn't have a mall either.
We didn't have a mall, but we were in Seguin. But San Antonio was only 30 minutes away. Yeah, we would go to the mall every weekend. That's what we did. That's what we did, right? My friends and I would go. Our parents would drive us to the mall. We would go in, we'd go to the food court, we'd freaking just hang out in the mall all day while our parents shopped.
Yeah.
And it was like everything about that. This was set in the 80s. Mine was in the 90s, but it was just that's my fucking childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching my childhood on Netflix right now, and it's amazing. It's just sneaking into the movie theater and seeing they were seeing Back to the Future. Genius. Loved it.
Dawn of the Dead. Didn't they watch Dawn of the Dead at first?
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, Day
Dawn
of
of
the
the Dead
George
was
Romero's
90s.
Day of the Dead, and then Back to the Future when they were. It's just, man, I love that. It is. It's. I wouldn't say perfect television, but I'd say it's pretty damn close.
Damn good.
9.99. Easy.
I'm at like 12 out of 10. The Xbox Germany Facebook group made an oops this week when it posted a video claiming Final Fantasy VII Remake would release on the Xbox One on the same day as the PS4 version of the game. The video was pulled down from the feed very quickly, but not before screenshots began circulating on Twitter. Since this story, Square Enix has said that there are currently no plans to release the game on any other console aside from the PS4.
Who the fuck would actually think that was a thing? Who at Xbox Germany was like, oh, they're totally releasing it on
It's
us?
going to be a thing. But
not
they're
right now. It's not.
But it's not going to be anytime soon because there's an exclusive deal between Sony and Square
Sure,
Enix.
but that's what
and
I
Square
mean.
can't say like, "Hey, it's coming out at some point."
Sure, but that's what I mean. Who at Xbox Germany is like, oh, it's totally going to come out day one. Let's make them video. Like, no, it's not. Anyway, sorry.
Language barrier.
Yeah, sure.
There's like 3 language barriers.
They're
there.
all 9.
Chinese to English to German. Yeah,
Good
so
call.
that's the whole thing.
Japanese, not Chinese.
Did I say Chinese?
Yes.
God, I'm a shitty person. I meant Japanese, 100%.
You know the guys with the eyes.
I meant Japanese. I don't know why I said Chinese. Amazon is making a Lord of the Rings MMO that is said to be a free-to-play game. This same game was announced last year, but now Amazon Game Studios will lead the project with the same development team that is currently working on their other game, New World.
Weird.
In other news, Amazon Game Studio? ?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
When the fuck did that happen?
I had to look it up because I was like, well, what's New World? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, this is.
We talked about
okay.
New World last year when it was like an open beta.
Yeah, I like vaguely remember it. I didn't know it was Amazon.
It probably wasn't good. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think any.
That's still
Lord
not
of the
out
Rings
yet.
already has an MMO and it's still live and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but Amazon doesn't own it.
Sure.
Why are you making a new Lord of the Rings game in 2019?
Because the Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
show is
Rings
being
show's
made
coming
by
on.
Amazon.
So
and
now
coming out in
they
like a year
can
or
tie it
two.
all in together.
I forgot that's a thing.
Yep. A Batman Arkham collection, including all 3 games in the series, is set to release at least in Europe this September, according to a leaked but confirmed post by Rocksteady Studios.
That hasn't happened yet?
No.
Oh.
I feel like it has.
No word yet on a U.S. release, but come on.
I feel like that happened.
They did. I think they did.
Did they do the 2-pack of the first 2? They did do a 2-pack of the first 2.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight, Arkham City.
But when I said 3 games too, part of me
Arkham
was
Knight.
thinking of Arkham Origins being a part of that.
But Arkham Origins wasn't made by Rocksteady.
No, but it was made by like Rocksteady North or whatever,
Yeah.
or the Australian Rocksteady.
Oh, so they're planning
which is
all
not North.
All 4 games or just the 3?
Well, it said 3. I wonder which games they plan on including. I mean, personally, if you're going to put 3 games in a collection and put it out for people that haven't played the games, you're obviously going to do City, Asylum, and Night.
Sure.
But I don't think that Origins has been ported to PS4 yet.
I never even played it. I never played Origins.
Apparently, Origins is really good. It just came out and was buggy and deleted saves, and so no one played it.
Yeah, I never played that one.
Last but certainly not least, the source code from Rockstar's Social Club points to earnable accomplishments for Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, confirming another obvious truth about the universe that one day the game will release on PC.
Sure. Man, I'm very much looking forward to whatever this new update is where they add the jobs. I can't wait for that to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I can't wait for it.
It's supposed to be the summer.
Yeah, I know. I don't know when.
But like summer is like up until
Yeah,
November
yeah.
for studios nowadays. So.
in Texas, it's up till December. So,
Yeah.
you know.
So,
Okay, bye.
bye guys. We got to get ready for our friends who have been waiting for us. If you guys like all the things that we do, please check out the description below to find all of our links to everything. Also, if you're listening to this on YouTube or on Spotify or on iTunes or on the Google Play Store, go to our feed and listen to the Nick Scarpino and Greg Miller interviews. Maybe I'm biased, but I think they're really great. And
They're not bad.
and if they're not great, then you can listen to them and then tell me why I'm wrong. So it gives you a way to outrage.
Is it
check
as
out
good?
twinstickradio.com/you're wrong. Tell us why we're wrong.
Is it as good as the one a couple of years ago when him and Colin finally had the split, and we actually like had the balls to be like, "Hey, how's Colin? Oh, I don't know. We don't even talk anymore." It's
So
like, what?
I think it's a little bit better. I think that was a really good question, but I think that I think part of the nice thing about it is that I have become more comfortable talking to Greg, so it makes the conversation easier as opposed to like the thing where I'm like silently freaking out.
Yeah, see, I'm
and
comfortable
not-
talking to anybody. That was
That
was
a really good question.
that kind of threw him for a loop when I asked him. I was like, so how's Colin?
how you
Oh,
gotta
we
get
don't. Yeah,
But,
we don't
you
even
know,
talk anymore.
a lot of the
Guerrilla
shit-
journalism.
It was nice because a lot of things that I asked him and the way that I sort of walked into that interview behind the scenes for the Greg Miller interview for RTX.
Peel back the curtain.
The main thing that I wanted to ask him were sort of things that I was wondering about the future of Twin Stick Radio. Like it was very much like, hey, how do you keep positive in a world of negativity, or how did you as a group sort of come together and become closer after working together for a long time? And it was really interesting to hear how they had gone through the same experiences that I think that we think about going through all the time. So.
He was very candid about a lot of things. It was cool.
Oh yeah, he's always like the
I
Colin
mean,
question. You know, he hadn't talked about Colin in like a year, and Chris was like, "So, how are things with Colin?" And he's like, "I don't talk to him anymore." And it was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, but I mean, but he also kind of talked about like his public persona, especially being like overly positive and everything, and how he kind of talked about how like that's not how he is, like, you know, necessarily all the time. So,
But if you want to hear more or specific answers to questions instead of our generalizations of them, go listen to the interview.
go check it out.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next
You're
week.
way too excited about all this RTX stuff. Give it 2 years and you'll be like, God, I don't want to do this.
Well, this year,
Now I'm just thinking.
we'll talk about it off mic. But this year was a lot different than our other years, and it kind of was lame.
It's too many people.
Turn around.
Too many people.
Okay, bye, guys. See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Look at what you see.
So, how often should you wash your shirts?
I have
Because I have a.
moist-
Oh, go ahead.
I have moisture,
Wicking.
underwear, and they're unbelievably uncomfortable. I hate them so much. They're like this weird, like they're not silk,
Yeah.
but they're like that weird, like golf shirt.
Uh-huh. I have some.
I
Those
hate,
are most of
I
mine.
hate them. I hate them.
Really?
I hate them so much.
Those are my hookup underwear.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
yeah.
they look really nice when you wear
Sure.
them.
Like these even have like a in the ball area. There's
like
like
a pocket.
notable pocket
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
just fit
It's
into.
like a bulge.
That's the best part about them.
Accentuates the bulge.
However,
Exactly. They look nice on people.
yeah. However, sometimes you just like I need room because then you just have to stuff them in this little hole or this little nook.
I'm not big on underwear room.
Like you like everything being compressed.
I'm big.
If you
I'm
ever
big on
see me in underwear, they will be compression shorts.
Hot
Yeah,
take.
no.
We saw Greg Miller's underwear this weekend.
That's nice.
Yeah, we
that's,
did.
That's weird. What, dude? Like it's squeezing too much.
Nah. I don't like boxers. No boxer briefs.
No, absolutely not.
I'm sorry?
I'm not
but
talking
maybe
about
boxer briefs.
I'm not talking about that much. Like I wear boxer briefs. I'm not talking about that much hanging room. I'm just talking about a little bit of give. Like those.
If you wear boxers, you're an animal.
Yeah, I agree. But like that
don't know.
golf because mine are and one. I don't know why I have
yeah.
them, but they're and
Yeah,
one. But
they're
like
compression. They're compression. It's like athletic material.
yeah.
That's what all my
but,
gym shorts are, I think.
yeah, but like more than
Walmart.
5 hours in those, like my balls start to hurt because it's just it's there. It's just I can't do it.
I'm starting to get a point in my life, as I've worn boxer briefs since I've had a say in what kind of underwear I can wear, so for forever. And I'm starting to get to a point in my life where, aside from the fact that it's a bunch of extra material that you're shoving into your pants, like boxers are sounding more and more appealing because of the freedom.
Too much freedom. Too much. You've got that old pair of everybody has it. It's an older pair, and there's too much freedom. But it's like that's the last thing you have before you do laundry. So you wear them, and it's just like free freaking swaying in the
free
wind.
reign.
And I can't do the swaying thing. Just can't do it.
Nope, I need it all compartmentalized.
No, not that much. A little bit, not a lot.
Free the bulge.